Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'll be covering the final update to the very popular video I first covered last week, which is titled, Golddigger Wife Expected to Get Rich in Divorce, Freaks Out Upon Learning They Were Never Married. And that story, that was definitely one of the best I've covered in a long time. That was about the guy who wrote in about his buddy from many years ago, who got married to an absolute gold digger and discovered her ways 6 years into the marriage. But the funny thing is, they found out they were never married. And she lost her mind because she didn't get any of his freaking money. And you all recall what happened there. Well, part 2, when he did last week, was the update. And did more details about what happened to that girl afterwards. Well, she never got married ever again and was living a boring lifestyle somewhere in New York. And the other guy went on to have a very prosperous, good life with a girl now, but never married. Well, here we are with a little more updates here. The guy had he's doing a lot of Q&A because a lot of guys ask questions in the comment section with a little more information about what went down behind the scenes. So since you guys like the video so much, I'm covering the final update. And I do expect this to be the final update. So he says here, hey SSM, I want to give you a short update on Jay's story. New York State could still validate a marriage without a valid certificate. I was wrong when I said they absolutely required that certificate. It makes more sense now because apparently the state would accept testimony from the person who officiated the wedding. Okay, so he was wrong about that part, but he's clearing that up. Again, this update is based on a lot of questions and commentary a lot of you guys had. That is why Laura tried like hell to track down the Italian pastor. Luckily for Jay, she was never able to locate him in Italy. Jay said that the pastor was someone his father knew well and had asked him to officiate his marriage. The only information Laura had was that the pastor had retired and moved back to the Naples area in Italy. I often wonder what Laura could have possibly have tried to find someone in a foreign country under the circumstances, or just have her efforts failed. You know, that was a last-ditch effort that she got a freaking ticket and went to Italy to try to track this guy down because, you know, she lost out on millions. Millions a couple decades ago when millions bought a hell of a lot more than it does right now. Even though right now it still buys a lot. Also, New York does not issue marriage certificates the way they used to back in the 90s. Now, if you apply for a marriage certificate in New York, the state will have the filing on record. After the marriage takes place, the officiating priest sends a copy back in which it is then matched to the original filing. Back when Jay got married, the state had nothing in regards to the marriage, so please be careful out there, fellas. Okay, there you go. Or better yet, don't get married. Or if you're going to get married, get a freaking prenup across the board. The guy never did that. Or have money in a trust or something. I've often been asked if this marriage could have been litigated. The answer is yes, but it would be a contested marriage, and that case would be separate from an impending divorce. The court would first have to decide if the marriage would be viewed as legal. Jay spoke to his attorney about this, and a contested marriage would alone affect any divorce that would take place afterwards. Laura submitted personal photos to the court from the wedding, but it wasn't the official wedding photo book because Jay had possession of that, which magically disappeared. She didn't have anything outside the handful of personal pictures from the wedding. You know, that ought to tell you everything because generally when people get married, the wives are fanatical. They're fanatical, but they're fanatical about getting their hands on the wedding album and all the pictures and all that. She was just like, nah, not important because she was just biding her time, making her money, using it for what it was worth. Another question people asked about is about Jay's tax filings. That's what I was wondering here. I'm glad you brought that up. Jay told me that he never filed a joint tax return with Laura. He explained that people in his line of work usually have very complex tax returns, and many people opt to do separate filings to make it easier. Jay has always been filing his taxes independently from Laura. I'm pretty sure if they did file jointly, he would have realized about their certificate issues in year number 1. Yep, yeah, I was wondering, if he did the whole married filing jointly thing, and for 6 years, certainly she could have used that to argue her case. And I might add, he'd have the freaking Uncle Sam coming after him for a better deal, filing separately in that situation. So yeah, thank God he filed separately. Lastly, Laura tried suing Jay for taking the Aston Martin away from her. Man, she was going to get her grubby little paws anything she could get. I didn't know about this until recently, but I guess this was her last-ditch effort to get something out of Jay since the door was effectively shut on the marriage front. She tried arguing that the car was given to her as a gift and then taken away vindictively. Well, vindictively or not, she was cheating on him for all those years, married him only to take advantage of him, so who the hell cares? This lawsuit was also dismissed because Jay was the only person on the title of the car, and he was paying for the ongoing insurance payments. His SSM Laura did not have proof of ownership of anything Jay ever gave her. I think it's time we stop calling her Laura and start referring to as shit for brains. She wasn't even on the title, and it was her car. I mean, my God. And no evidence of her owning anything? This woman was so confident that she was able to fleece Jay that she never bothered retaining any records during their time together. Again, call her shit for brains. She couldn't find the pastor. She couldn't prove ownership of any of the jewelry. She couldn't prove the car was hers. She couldn't prove her $150,000 wardrobe belonged to her. Nothing. On top of all that, she had to return the engagement ring. Man, Jay made out like a bandit. Somebody upstairs looking out for Jay. Holy crap. I mean, this chick could have literally written a book like What Not to Do as a Gold Digger. Seriously, something to benefit from this. Then again, she was shit for brains. Well, looking back, Jay definitely dodged a big one. Everything just happened to go his way, and he recognizes he was very lucky. Yeah, I hope and clearly he's learned from his mistake because he's never gotten married since. Before I go, SSM, I'd like to tell you that I visited Jay's mother a few days ago. The awesome mom who got the $1,000 an hour attorney to help out with his mess. She needs some help with her laptop and being able to watch content from it in her living room TV. Well, I did help her get that set up, and I decided to show her your 2 videos to her on the TV after I got everything working. Oh boy. Well, she's an elderly woman now, so it took a little bit before she realized what you were talking about. To say that she was shocked is an understatement, but she loved every second of listening to you recount the story to your listeners. I'm pretty sure she's going to show your videos to everyone who visits her now. Well, that's awesome. Shout out to Jay's mom. You're awesome. Welcome to the community. I mean, she's probably, 70s, 80s. My buddy's mom watches my show. She's 86 years old, and when he comes down to Florida to visit her, they'll put me up on the TV, and she'll say to me, "Oh, you're so funny. You're so funny on the television." I'm like, well, I'm not on TV. I'm on YouTube, but to her, it's TV. She also wants everyone to know that if she had to spend $1 million in fighting that bitch, as she calls her, she would have. She said she was afraid Jay would have been angry with her for retaining that attorney behind his back, but Jay not only wasn't mad, he loved his mom even more. The attorney was the one who sent a records request for their marriage, and that's how the whole saga began. Well, you get what you pay for. That attorney obviously knew enough to, let's request from the state. Make sure this thing even went through. How interesting. I didn't mention it earlier, but my girlfriend who saw Laura that day is now my wife. If you all recall in part 1, it was this dude's girlfriend that saw Laura on like 5th Avenue coming out of the Saks Fifth Avenue or I don't know what, making out with some dude. Thank God that happened. We've been married 17 years, and no, I didn't rush. I did it right by really getting to know her first. Jay's mom really loves my wife. They are very close. But I think it's because she was the one who found out what Laura was up to behind her back, or her son's back, and didn't hesitate one moment to expose the truth. Well, man, thank you for the update. That's great. You married her, and I'm really glad that you've had a great marriage. That's awesome. You didn't mention if you have any kids. But if you do have any kids, definitely make sure your sons watch this material and raise them in the proper right way. Or you have any daughters, make sure they're raised not to be like Laura or any of these harpies that we have so common nowadays. But this was a great story. I'm glad you wrote in and shared about it. I'm glad you got Jay's permission. That was very important there. And you guys, that's awesome. You're buddies after all these years. And it's especially hilarious hearing about what Laura's up to nowadays. And let's just say it hasn't been too kind to her. I mean, all she had to do was just be loyal to Jay. That's all she had to do. And she would have had a hell of a nice life. Beyond hell. And the guy was only over time going to build his wealth even more. She'd probably be sailing around on a nice yacht. nowadays issues with him and all that, but nope. She had to piss it away, and look what she got. I mean, that is karma, and I'm glad it struck her very good. So, bro, appreciate the update, and really do wish you and your wife well. And if you see Jay anytime soon, tell him SSM said hello, and I wish him well. And by the way, if Jay wants to send in his part of the story from his perspective, tell him to send it here. I'm sure all the guys would love to hear it. Guys, if you'd like to hear from Jay, the actual dude this story's about, hear his perspective, that type of thing, let this dude know in the comment section. I'm sure he'll reach out to Jay, and we'll get his side of the story. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, you got a great story you want to share about yourselves or a buddy or someone in your life, or you find a good news article you want me to cover, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmail@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.